morning. How are you?
Good. Thank you for doing this early this morning. You know what? What I noticed, it's funny that when we were texting, you mentioned that how much you're an early person. That
Yes.
this particular change of season is hitting me different, Zach. Physiologically, it's hitting me different. I know that I thrive when the sun is up. I know that, right?
Yeah.
Because everything I have to do, I need to beat the night before it comes, or else I'm a wrap. Like housekeeping and stuff like that. If I don't get it done before it's dark, then it's not going to get done.
I'm the same way.
It's not going to get done. And this
you know
season,
what sad is, right? When you sad because of what is it, seasonal something disorder? That shit is real.
It is real. It is real. If I don't get a certain amount of vitamin D directly from the sun, I'm done. I'm done.
Right.
Yeah. The seasonal affective disorder is totally me. I complain about it every year like clockwork, but this year is different. I can't stay awake. It's like I'm going into hibernation. I cannot stay awake. I would sleep by 7:30. 7:30 because it was too dark out there for me. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's because of the fact that being a person of African descent, this is not built for me. You know what I'm saying? To be cold, not to get my sun is not somewhere in my lineage, is not built for me. You see what I'm saying?
You see me, I'm bundled up.
Right.
I have the heat on and I'm still bundled. Like, I need the heat.
Listen, so you already turned your heat on for the year.
Actually, yeah, because it's cold as shit out here.
It's cold. It's cold. I'm looking at my thermostat. My thermostat says it's 75 in here. It's a damn lie. It's a damn lie. I am cold.
See, I have my thermostat set to 72. So I'm good at 72. That's how cold it is. It's not even 72.
Yeah, it's a lie. It ain't no 75 in here. I am cold. But thank you for hopping up this morning with me. And it feels better too, Zach. So I'm glad that we are doing it early morning as opposed to later in the evening. It literally feels better. I'm glad that you initiated that because yeah, I can't make it apparently.
You know?
Yeah. I can't make it apparently. I cannot make it to 9 o'clock unless I'm at work, and that's because I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. So now instead of saying that we're re-recording, I'm just gonna call it part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Okay.
And so we are going to revisit most of the things that we spoke about the first time because the audio did not work out well. I thought that it may be enough, but then I had people who are subscribed to my blog say we can't hear anything. It's a mess. And I was so disappointed because this interview with you, it had so much in it. And I thought that us doing it again would not be as authentic. And I didn't want to lose that. You know what I mean? That's why I was like, I'm going to put it up. I don't care. I'm going to put it up. But I think that it's so much that I want to talk to you about that we'll be able to have those moments again.
Absolutely.
Those moments again.
And I love talking, so this is going to be authentic as ever. Trust.
Boom. All right, excellent. Thank you. Let's start with childhood. Because here's the good thing about it, that even looking back at the previous interview, I got more questions. So I want to dig deeper, okay? So let's start with your childhood. And we had spoke previously about, it was difficult. It was a difficult childhood. And then now I'm thinking, who doesn't feel like their childhood is difficult? You know what I mean?
Right.
Everyone has their own personal Vietnams. And But tell me about why we may be saying right now that yours was. What was difficult for you?
I would say what was the most difficult for me growing up was being an unloved child by my mother. You know, having a narcissistic mother that suffers with mental illness, and me being her firstborn and also her scapegoat child, meaning that she just couldn't love me. She couldn't show me love. So I have 5 other siblings, and that probably was the hardest part. But though it was hard, and being an unloved child comes with a whole bunch of BS, at the same time it was fun. Like, my mother, you know, she didn't care, so I didn't have rules, really. I could roam and be me and be free and do whatever I wanted without much parental guidance. And then on the other hand, I would go with my father, who was bona fide Muslim, and I would have to wear a hijab and wake up, you know, and do the first prayer and go to the masjid and all of that. So it was a very dynamic childhood for sure.
Zak, we didn't talk about the first time we talked about being unloved, but we did not talk about your mom and mental illness, okay? So I want to talk about that for a little bit. Okay. And secondly, let's talk about the fact that you felt unloved, but you have siblings who were shown love by your mom, okay? Oh, yeah. So what do you think your mom suffered from when it comes to mental illness?
Well, my mother, when she got married, she was 19 and my father was 35. So when she had me, she was 20. You know, and she grew up with a lot of BS from her mother, just not being aware and being a partier and things like that. So she came up in a traumatic childhood as well. Okay. So yeah, I just don't think that she's very maternal. Even to my other siblings who she does love, she's just still hasn't been maternal to any of us, really. And she, I would say that she was just young. And I would attribute a lot of it, honestly, although I love my father and I've never seen this from him with any other woman, especially my stepmom, who I call my mom. But he was very abusive to her in the sense that he would spank her with the belt. He said she act like a child, she gonna get treated like a child, you know? So I would complain to my dad, like, Mom is mean to me, Mom did this, Mom did that. And I would be running around the house, running from her with an extension cord. My dad would come home, I would complain, and she would be running around the house, running from his belt, you know? So I think at the very early stages, she just blamed me. You know, she's a teenager, and she's like, I had this little girl, and how dare he love her more than me, you know, and she's making me get whoopings, you know? So I think being young and not ready for motherhood, you choose to be mad at the child instead of mad at the abuser.
And that's something different too that you just mentioned, because even though we talked about your mom being young, and I made a comment that it seems as if your dad raised your mom, what you never said is that she disliked that, or she had a problem with or hated that your dad showed more love to you than to her. So that's new. That's new. That's new. Hey, you know what struck me just a second ago when you were speaking? You mentioned the extension cord. And listen, in growing up and being disciplined, right? The hold on, let me adjust the camera a second.
Okay.
The perfect. The extension cord was next level. So I was disciplined or I got whoopings, because that's what we called them in my household. I got whoopings with a belt for the most part. It was a specific belt that I would get whoopings with. It was the belt for whoopings. I never seen my mama wear that belt a damn day in her life. But that was the belt that I knew that if I was getting a whooping, she was using that belt. And I got whoopings frequently. I got a lot of whoopings because I was a wild child. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I was a wild child, and my mother was young, and I believe that sometimes parents beat their kids out of frustration. Okay? But I remember one episode, I only got the extension cord once. The extension, I only got it once, because apparently we went to a parade, me and my cousins, they snitched me out, and I cussed at the parade. I don't remember doing it, but apparently I cussed. And when we got back to the house, they told my mom, and that was the first time I got the extension cord. The extension cord feels like so much hate to me. It's different. The extension cord is different. It felt different. I remember it. I was probably about 6, but I remember that extension cord. And now it's easy for me to have an opinion, so to speak, because I'm not rearing kids. I don't have a child. I don't have to consider discipline. But I'm curious just to know from anyone as a disciplinarian, beating them, especially black folk beating their kids. I think, and it is we do it because that's what happened to us. We beat kids into submission.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people might disagree with that. And like I said, I'm not raising kids, and that's easy for me to say. But I know, as you know, the other end of it, that I felt I did not feel love in that. You know what I mean? But that extension cord. So you was catching the extension cord. That was the weapon of choice.
The weapon of choice.
That feel like hate, Zak.
She would have the iron in her hand with the extension cord, the lamp.
What the fuck?
With the extension cord attached to it, she would grab and beat the shit out of me. It was terrible. And you know, so like you said, we kind of continue those type of traumas, and we think that's normal. Even me as a mother, I knew I would never hit my children with an extension cord or a belt. So I felt better because I would hit my children with a wooden spoon. And like you said, I didn't use that spoon to cook with. I just used it to, you know, hit my children with when they were out of line, whether it was in their hands or on their butt. I used that wooden spoon. But when I was using that wooden spoon, I would call myself an unconscious parent, meaning I just was parenting based off of what I knew. And when I became more conscious in my life, just as far as intentional with everything that I'm doing and understanding why I'm doing it, that moment that I became that person, which was probably in 2016, I stopped beating my children with anything. And now for discipline, I take devices and I make them do journal entries. And it's the best thing ever. I don't have to yell at my children. I don't repeat myself often because I just say, you know what? I think I want a 2-page journal entry on this documentary I'm going to have you watch. Or I want a 2-page entry on your day or whatever. And I have notebooks full of journal entries from my children. And it's so much better. I really have been thinking about making a book because we went on a road trip. And from Vegas to Atlanta, and anytime anything happened, I made them write journal entries. So I have amazing entries, and that's my form of discipline. And my kids are A and B honor roll students. I don't have problems from them. They are amazing.
You said unconscious parent, and then 2016 conscious parent, huh? Conscious and with intent.
I began to love myself, you know.
Yeah. So when you loved yourself, then you as a parent changed, one, and then two, the way you reared your kids changed.
Absolutely. You cannot hit anybody when you are loved. You just can't do it. Like, when you are loved and you feel that through and through, you can't make someone else hurt.
Wow, Zak. Jeez. That's deep as shit. I'm gonna tell you why. For me, just taking this all in, is that, can I use that same principle in terms of my relationship with adult persons? People that I know I can sit here and said I've tried to hurt purposely. Would I have, if I cared more for myself, if I loved myself, could I even?
Yeah. You just can't.
Wow, that's deep as shit.
Yes.
So we talked about you as a child, and then we kind of went organically into your parenting. Tell me, with your childhood traumas too, tell me about you as a parent as well. We already started kind of going there, but what else, because of your traumas, have you decided that you're going to do differently as a parent?
Oh my God. This is such an awesome question. I'm telling you, as a child, I used to tell my parents, like, I'm not going to be this type of parent. My children are going to be able to talk to me. They're going to be able to express themselves. I always said that, and my dad would be like, just keep living. And now, me as a conscious parent, I have to say that because I was a different parent when I wasn't. My children are able to express themselves. They have the right to say no. They have the right to say, I don't want to. They still have to, but they can tell me, I don't want to do that. And I'll say, okay, I understand that. Now do it. And then we'll talk about, why you felt that way, or, and every now and then, like last night, my son I only do win-win situations. So I can't remember what he wanted, but my win was, you got to put together these 2 dressers that I bought. And so after he put one together, he was like, Ma, this was very hard to do. Can I please do the other one later? And I was like, no, because that wasn't the win-win. But then later I was like, you know what? It's okay. You can do it later. So things that I have learned is I allow my daughter, who's 13, to have boys she talked to. I allow my son, who's 16, I took him and his girlfriend to the beach with us for the weekend. I'm very aware. I don't let them overstep boundaries, but I allow them to be 13 and be 16. I remember me at that age. I had other male friends, and I wasn't thinking about sex. I was thinking about love, and I wanted attention, and I wanted affection. I understand that my children are no different than that. And it's open communication. There's nothing they wouldn't tell me. I'm sure there are things they wouldn't tell me, but when it really comes down to it, they're very open and honest with me about everything. And people are amazed at our relationship, and it's just because I cannot parent the same that I was. I had to build my own traditions and examples based off of trauma. And not wanting to pass that down to my own. So.
Now, recognizing your traumas and then getting to a point of self-love, I'm just going to say 2016 because that's the time period that you mentioned, okay? Would you say this was happening 2016-ish?
I would say probably more 2017. 2016, honestly, was the breakdown year.
Okay.
2017 was the rebuilding year, for sure.
All right. Walk me to 2016. What was the breakdown?
In 2015, I retired from the military after 21 years in there. So the military came with a whole lot of trauma that really, I didn't have time to focus or think about all of the suffering in my childhood, because there was a whole nother level of suffering being in the military, a Black Muslim woman in the military, and then later a Black humanist woman in the military.
Okay.
So it was just very ostracized, dealt with all kind of things while still, and I was a cryptologist, a Navy spook, you know, working at the Pentagon and NSA. And I was usually the only one at the table.
Okay.
In any capacity, be it Black, be it female, it was just me at the table. So, and it came with this huge set of trauma. So when I retired, I was dealing with a lot with my mental and physical health. I was very overweight. I was a size 16, and it was just trauma. I mean, and I was just, the VA had me on plenty of pills. I was taking about 12 to 13 pills a day, trying to deal with my chronic pain and anxiety and PTSD and just a slew of shit. And then I was raped. I got raped. I was on Tinder, and I first time meeting a guy, had an amazing date. 12 hours into the date, I don't know how that date lasted. We just went from one event to the next, and 12 hours later, I decided to let him cuddle for a few minutes that he asked me for, and I was raped. So on top of all the stuff I was dealing with, moving just back to Vegas by myself, not having much support like I thought I would, it was just a breakdown moment. And before I knew it, I mean, I was suicidal. I had so much hired staff around me, chefs, nannies, freaking gardener. I mean, assistant. I had just hired staff, a live-in nanny, because I needed someone to help me with my children while I stayed in bed all day long. And then I finally agreed to let my children's father raise them, because I was failing at it. You know, I was miserable, and other people around me were raising my children that I was paying. So I let them go with their father, and that was the year 2016 that I just started building myself up. I took a 9-week vacation, and I just went to Southeast Asia. I was child free. I roamed around the country with this guy that I was seeing, who was also a personal trainer. So I was working out all the time, eating good, exploring. I was just getting to know myself and loving myself. And I turned everything around. Now in 2019, almost 2020, I'm a size 4. And I did it just simply from learning how to love myself, you know, literally. I drink green tea almost every day. I work out, I meditate every morning, I jump rope daily. I am all about doing the things that make me happy and make me healthy. And I no longer am on VA drugs. I was on medical marijuana for years. I recently stopped like a month ago, but that really helped a lot. So.
Okay, that was a lot. And a lot of that was some things that we hadn't previously talked about. So let's talk about it now then. That was a lot. Okay. So when we go back and we talk about what was happening at that time with the breakdown, and you were highly medicated, sounds like, right? Was there anything in there as far as you were highly medicated? At one point, you were also suicidal. the suicidal, did that happen as a result of, or just the accumulation of?
I think honestly, I've always been suicidal since I was a little girl.
Ooh, Zak. Ooh, Zak. Okay. All right. Yeah. And I'm saying ooh because first of all, you said that out your mouth. You admitted it out loud. So thank you for doing that. Cause go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, you know, coming up the way that I did.
I'm up here tearing up.
You know, I know.
Go ahead.
You know, the first time I was raped, I was 4 years old. You know, so and until that last time I was raped, I had been dealing with sexual trauma and all of that for so many years that I don't know anybody who wouldn't be suicidal. And to have a parent, you know, the way that I did. So, girl, don't make me go there. Right?
Okay.
Yes. So once it got to the point where I was crawling because I had this huge house and there was this banister, and to get from my room to my children's area, I had to walk by this huge banister, and I would just look over it and I would just hear voices like, if you just throw yourself over, your neck will break and it will be over, you know. And it got to the point where I would have to crawl across this hallway so that I wouldn't want to jump over that banister. And that's when I knew, like, I got to get help because I just want the easy way out right now. And I cannot do that to my children. So,
how'd you go about finding help? Did you use services through the military, or you did it outside of what they may have to offer?
Oh, the military was offering me help through pills. So that was killing me. It was probably why I had such strong suicidal ideations at that point. So I literally remember the day I Googled how to be happy. And there was probably 10 things listed. And I literally did everything on that list. It was said things like plan a trip, drink green tea, exercise, meditate. And when I tell you, I did everything on that list as often as possible. It changed my life. Before I knew it, my pounds were melting away. I was happy. My skin was looking better. It worked. And it was as simple as me Googling how to be happy. And it helped a lot that my children's father took, you know, my babies and gave me that time to get myself together.
You guys that's so non-traditional for, you know, for the mom not to be the primary, so to speak. You know what I mean? And you guys were able to co-parent in that way. How's co-parenting now? You have your kids with. So how is co-parenting going now? Or talk about how you ended up, or when you were able to receive your kids back in your care, your immediate care.
Well, honestly, I co-parent with the devil. You know, I gotta give him his due props for raising my children, but he's not an easy man to get along with. He's a very broken person, and I wish he was healthier because it would be so great. You know, my children love their father, but he's not healthy. He comes from a toxic background as well, a nurse's mother as well. So, I mean, you know, he was able to get my children because I was paying his mother's rent, his mother's utilities, paying him support. So I really offered him a deal that he couldn't refuse. Like, instead of me paying all of these caretakers around me, I'll pay you if you can raise our children. And so it really was a win for him and a win. Everything I do, I try to make a win-win.
Okay.
So that's how that came about. I wish I could have something more positive to say, but this is just the reality of what happened.
And how were the kids experience with their dad? Because you mentioned, you know, you started off, my kids love their father. So
yes,
that's something. You know what I mean? That's something. All right. So, but what was their experience like?
My son is actually still with them.
Okay.
He kind of goes back and forth. I moved closer to so that they can see us both. But I would say that their experience with him was very eye-opening. He turned out to be not as much of a hero as they thought in their head.
Okay.
They were able to see him for who he was, and it was very sad to me. I knew what happened. You know, we all grow up and get to the point where we're like, something is not right here with my parent, you know. And so they got to that point. So now we're able to have these open, honest conversations about what healing looks like and what toxicity looks like and what, you know, so they love their dad still. But he's definitely done some things that have traumatized them. And what I can say is that it has made them appreciate me and love me harder. They love the fact that I'm still trying with their father when so many others would have been like, you would never see my children again.
Okay.
You know, I get all the time that I do too much and I give too much, but I really believe that although he's not the best representation, he is still their father. But fortunately for me, you know, I have great men in my life. My ex-husband, who is amazing. He's a big father figure in their lives. And my ex-boyfriend is a big father figure in their lives. So they know what a great man looks like, and they still love their father for who he is.
Okay. You know, parents can be the absolute worst. However, the kids, we love them no matter what. That is, you know, you love your parents no matter what type of things you had to endure as a children and things that you do differently as an adult as a result of that's just you just do. Now we talked about ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends, and let's transition into your polyamorous relationships, and tell me how'd you get there with that, and why you adopted that into your life.
I love being polyamorous. I've been polyamorous all of my life, honestly. I have notebook journal entries where I was loving Mo and I was loving Maurice and Edric, and I mean, I always, even I recently got in contact with my first boyfriend, Edric. I was with him from the age of 8 to 12 for 4 years. And he was like, man, I still kick the dude butt who he used to get lunch money from, because he said I used to tell him, just chill, I'm only with him because he give me lunch money. Like, I'm going to get you lunch money too. Like, it's okay. So even at the age of 10, I was telling my boyfriend, like, relax, I'm just getting lunch money, you know? So I've always been polyamorous, meaning I've always been able to love more than one person at a time. And I think we as humans, we love more than one person at a time. We love our children, we love our parents, we love our friends. But for some reason, society says once you're with one person, you're supposed to only love that person. But it's a lie. I mean, we don't unlove people. If you think about everyone you've loved in your life, you can't unlove them. I mean, you can be mad at them, but you probably can't unlove them. So I have, I have lovers. And what's crazy about that is that I'm really an asexual woman, so people will commonly think, oh, you just like to have sex. And I don't have sex often. It's very, very, very rare. I love love. I love love. I want love. I'm always seeking it out. I'm always looking to give it. I'm just a loving person, and I don't want to require anyone to be who they're not. So if you don't like going to football games and I want to go to a football game, you can stay home and I'm going to go with Rodney to the football game. Or I'm going to, I don't want you to go out of your way. I don't want you to be my end all be all. And I don't want to be your end all be all. I just want to love you for who you are, and what you're not, I'm going to get it from someone else.
Yeah, everybody sounds like everybody, not everybody, but people have a part to play. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, people have a part to play because we as people are so complex, right? And a perfect match can be a lot of different people at the same time.
Yes.
Tending to different needs at the same time.
Yes. Can I tell you about my favorite polyamorous moment?
Go ahead, please.
In 2017, I was nominated the Root Top 100 African American Entrepreneur in a Row, something like that. I don't remember the titles. The Root 100. And I'm sorry, I be having moments, but I was invited to go to Manhattan to walk the red carpet to get my award, and I went with two of my boyfriends at the time who are both like fine as Black men, very chiseled men. Both of them just live in the gym and they're just fine. And I asked if I could bring a +2, and they were like, no one has ever asked us that before, but yeah, sure. So they had, my 2 seats set up, and I went with my 2 dates, and my 2 dates got a whole lot of attention because it was a lot of women at this event, and they just could not understand, like, both of you are here with her. And the editor of Essence was like, girl, you are gold. And that for me was just dopey dope to have her say that, and it was just a magical night. And I've gone on plenty of dates with 2 of my boyfriends at a time, but that moment being a red carpet event, Common was hosting it, Raheem Devon was the halftime show. I mean, it was just epic. It was epic, and it was,
How have
pictures from that night? It was dope.
It sounds dope. How from that, like in that instance, for that particular occasion, how are the men relating to each other? Because for me, I think about, because I'm not matured in that area to even conceive of not possessing somebody. You know what I mean? It's possession. I'm saying it. It is possession. So how did the man deal with that in that night?
On every date that I've gone on, whether it's me with their girlfriends or them with my boyfriends, it's always like brotherly, sisterly love. I have pictures of them kind of just kicking it, like we went around Times Square afterwards, and I have plenty of pictures of them without me being there, just having a great time. They're like brothers. And till this day, they are like brothers. You know, I recently sent a picture. I had Facebook remind me that 2 years ago on this day, and I sent it to my boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend anymore, but I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh my God, I gotta send this to Remy." You know what I mean? So they're like brothers, and in every scenario, even when I've gone on dates where the guys had never met, they talk, they interact with a lot of mutual respect and love, because they love me, and they know that this is who I am, and they do whatever is necessary. And that's it. I show their women love. If they invite me out, you know, and they're with so-and-so, I'm going to show her love, and I'm going to make sure she's comfortable, and I still have plenty of sister wives, you know, even though maybe that relationship ended, where we're still the best of friends.
Wow.
So I love it. I honestly, lately, I've been dealing with men who just want me, and I am not a fan of it. I would prefer that the men that deal with me have other women, and I would prefer that the woman knows and they're very honest about that. You know, I don't want to be your only woman. I just don't.
How did that play? So, how did polyamory play as a married woman?
Girl, in both my marriages, I've been married twice, to my children's father and to my ex, and I was very much a monogamous woman in both those relationships. And after ending my second marriage,
you said that. Let's be clear. You said that in a "let's be clear" voice.
After ending that second marriage, I said I would never play the role of a monogamous woman. I am not a monogamous woman. I don't want to be a monogamous woman. And honestly, if he had agreed to open up our marriage, I never probably would have divorced him. He's still one of my best friends today. I love him. He's an amazing, incredible man. But he wanted a monogamous relationship. But me, no ma'am. It's just, I feel that it's whack. It's not honest. You know, I know so many people in amazing monogamous relationships, don't get me wrong, but they got stuff that they can never talk to their spouse about, because they have to play this role like they're not human. And I would never do that again.
What do you call it, Zak? You called it ethical. What was it? What's it called?
Ethical non-monogamy.
Okay, ethical non-monogamy. Okay, great. I was trying to remember that. I knew it had ethical in it.
Ethically non-monogamous, meaning I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna present myself as something. I'm gonna let you know that I'm a ethically non-monogamous woman. And I feel like that saves lives. You know, when you tell the truth, you get to ask questions like, did you protect yourself? You know, well, since you guys didn't protect yourselves, I'm not gonna have sex until you get tested. Or you get to ask questions that save lives. Whereas when you're unethically non-monogamous, you don't know what's happening behind your back. You don't. Anything could be going down, and a lot of times that's how things happen.
You Googled how to be happy, and I'm mentioning that because you're writing a book, and we'd already talked about some of the chapters of the book and what I was calling principles that I've already began to adapt, because you mentioned some of them while you were talking about Googling how to be happy. So run me through those chapters again, and then I probably have more questions to ask this time around, as like I said, I've mentioned and tried to adapt some of the principles from those chapters. So the book that you're writing, share that. Take us through take me through the chapters.
I am writing a book called 10 Unorthodox Ways to Live a Happier Life. And very unorthodox.
Mm-hmm.
Rule number 1, we have to ask better questions. So for instance, and the reason why we have to ask better questions is because normal questions, normal way of life, this shit ain't working. So, you know, just simple things. If you get a job, you want to know, is your boss happily married, single, or miserable? A simple, different type of question like that will determine how you can probably predict how your work life will go. And I don't have to go into that. We could figure out why. Number 2, go half on a baby and live happily ever after. I feel that love has nothing to do with it. What's love got to do?
Right.
Has nothing to do with going half on a baby. Yes, it would be ideal to meet someone, love them, want to get married, but if you want a baby and you cannot and have not found your forever after, go half on a baby. You know, a good cousin, your cousin got a best friend that you want, and you're like, hey, me and you, we're cool. We've been knowing each other since we're little. Let's go half on a baby. You know, I have a really good friend who is an amazing personal trainer, has his own gym, and it makes me sad to my heart that he doesn't have children because he was born to be a father, but he's looking for his forever ever lady instead of going half on a baby. So,
hey, Zak, let me ask you, in respects to that particular one, how do you think you initiate that conversation with someone whom you may seem suitable to share parenthood with? How would you initiate that conversation?
Well, let's say, take my close friend, for example. I would say to him, hey, I know that you want a baby. This is something that we have discussed. And I want a baby too. And neither one of us are in relationships. Or I believe even if you're in a relationship, that doesn't mean that's the one you should have a baby with. You should make a conscious decision to have a baby with someone due to whatever values you see, whatever family lineage you like, you know. So I would just say, hey, can we go half on a baby? I believe that we would be great co-parents. This is how I see it working. How would you see it working? And we could lay down at Saturday night, or we could go get inseminated. You know, my partner here is okay with this. He's gonna support us. And what do you think? I wish that more people would have that conversation, because I feel like a child born out of that type of agreement is gonna get more love, more support. Because if the parents get mad at each other, all hell won't break loose. They're great friends with a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah, and it's clear in that half on the baby is different than while you are creating a family together. It's not necessarily saying that you are going to be, you're my partner in this child.
Yes.
And we're good friends, but that sits outside of, if I'm understanding correct, what types of relationships I may be having on a different level.
Yes, okay. And what type you may be having. You know, this is just us sharing a baby.
Okay.
You know? Number 3, give the people what they ask for.
I put that into full effect immediately.
Listen,
Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, the best lawyers will agree with me. The richest company in this world paid 0 tax for the last 2 years. They're able to do things like that because they give the people what they ask for. They don't. They learn the rules and they learn how to say them out loud while breaking them silently. You know, you give the people what they want. For instance, if you want to move into an apartment and they require that you have this much in your bank account, you get online and you give them the document that shows them how much you have in your bank account, whatever they say. I mean, I'm not telling nobody to break the law, but I'm telling you an unorthodox way to be happier is to give the people what they want. There's a list of things you have to do. You can, give the people what they want to go where you need to go. This is not a new thing, but for sometimes our people with darker skin, we're afraid to break these rules. But other people with lighter skin break these rules every day. We got a whole president in the office that broke the rules to get there. So,
facts. Speaking of, jumping right in with some of those principles right now, as I'm looking to change careers and jobs, I went for that immediately. Zak, I got so many types of certifications right now.
Yes.
I got certifications right now. I went and got those certifications from friends who had them certifications and told me how I could make myself have those certifications for these career changes that I'm looking into. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
This is what most people do, but it's us that break our necks trying to always do the right thing, and the right thing doesn't get us very far, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is some unorthodox stuff I'm talking about, but you will be happier if you listen. Number 4, you are powerful. Recognize it, feel it. I think if we recognize our power and looked in the mirror and realize the force that we are, we would go so much further. We need to say mantras. We need to say affirmations. No more compromising yourself. Everything should be a win-win. Don't even give a little piece of yourself. If it's not a win-win, don't do it. You are powerful. And I think that in life, we can all point to a point where we realize, oh my gosh, I created this reality. Like, I did that, So.
Yeah, manifestation.
Yes, absolutely. Number 6, love better. Sharing is caring. Don't be anyone's end-all, be-all. That goes into me saying that in monogamy, it's not natural. I feel, again, unorthodox. I think that if you research animal behavior, you will see that we are animals, and monogamy is not a thing that most animals do. It's just not. Ethical non-monogamy, to me, is the safest practice. So, number 6, design your life. Make money moves. Plan your funeral. Get the monkey off your back before you're 65. Don't be a slave for more than 30 years. This is basically what this chapter is saying. Practice makes money. You know what I mean? You can design your life. I always knew that by the age of 40, I wanted to be retired. And I knew that because I had a workaholic mother and father. And I didn't want that to be my life. I wanted to enjoy my life. So I actually retired first when I was 38. And then at 39, I started running my own company. And then by 41, I was retired again. So I had retired twice by the time I was 41. But, and now I'm 43 and I'm loving retirement, and I'm writing books in my retirement. And I planned that life.
Zak, let's talk about, for that one specifically, we're the same age, right? So then tell me what that looks like for someone now who hadn't designed their life. We're not 20 or 25. That starting from now. Yes. How do you architect that?
Yeah, you plan it. You say, okay, at the age of 50, I want to retire. I want to retire within the next 10 years. What do I need to do? So you look at the many ways of making money, multiple streams of income, and you say, I'm going to get a vending machine. I'm going to invest in stocks. This little, I only have $15, but I'm going to invest those $15 every month. And I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to write an ebook. I mean, it's just a plethora of ways that you can, on purpose, retire within the next 10 years with an intentional plan.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any age. What you don't have on your side, what I had early on, was the benefit of compounding interest. You know, I did get into the stocks very early at the age of 19, and that helped me retire early. So that's the only thing that you're missing, is that compounding of interest. But you can still do it. Can still do it.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Number 7, be friends with your children. You know, a lot of people are against that. I ain't friends with my children. That's what my children fathers say all the time. I'm not gonna be friends with my children. And I feel it's unfortunate. I feel that the minute you become friends with your children and you choose to relate to them as if you were that child at that age, remembering you at that age, and not expecting a child to be an adult that makes great decisions all the time, you know, it would make for a better relationship. So I really tell people, try being friends with your children. You know, you don't have to be the boss all the time. I learn from my children every single day. They're teaching me something, and every single day I'm teaching them something. I'm not in charge. They're not in charge. We learn from each other, and we grow every day together. So, number 8, random acts of kindness. To me, that's my religion. Love and kindness is my religion. And me and my children, we have a contest. Every day, we see who can get the most random acts of kindness. I haven't gone out the house yet today, but yesterday, you know, I paid for a couple of meals behind me. I picked up some stuff that someone dropped. I opened doors. Simple things. You know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. And us driving, I let someone get over, you know, and I waited way longer than I should have to let them, but I just wanted to do it. It's just another way I can be kind. So I try to let that be my driving motto every day. And me and my kids, we count, you know. Generally, we get between 6 to 8 random acts of kindness a day. But sometimes we're superstars and we'll get 11 to 15, you know. So it's awesome. I've always played this game, even with my husbands and friends. They all know that I play this silent game with myself, and I'm counting my acts of kindness because it's fun.
I love that. I believe that all living things are connected. And so through helping others, you're actually helping yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I think being kind, which, you know, is a true practice for me in the sense that I have not done it enough. But with intention and being kind, it just, you know, innately that you're doing something right. You know what I mean? By another living thing that you're connected to. That's why it feels so good.
It feels so good. And it's so contagious. I've seen when I've done it, people will in turn go and do it. Or, You know, I've also seen people just refuse the act of kindness. They're like, oh my God, no. And I'm like, let me do this for you. And then they say, well, I need to do it for someone else now. No, it's just, it's awesome. Number 9, research terminology. It's research terms that could help you learn yourself. Know your triggers.
Okay.
You know that you're not a victim and that you have the capacity to heal yourself. So these are just a chapter of different terms that helped me and that I feel can help other people. Like I learned in that year of growing that I was a highly sensitive person, a HSP, and what that looks like.
Okay.
And I learned that I deal with CPTSD. Along with PTSD, I deal with complex PTSD, which is normally, the C stands for complex, but I believe it should stand for childhood PTSD. I learned what a narcissist is and what that looks like, being a scapegoat child or a black sheep, or, you know, I learned about helicopter parenting, terms like that, fight or flight, you know. So it's just a chapter full of terminologies that I think could help people learn themselves.
Okay.
And I learned a lot of those terms just from when I Googled how to be happy. I was introduced to TED Talks and different things like that. And so I started just geeking out on, you know, the brain and different traumas we go through and how they affect us. So, and then the final chapter is live your best life without fear. Fear nothing. Conquer everything. Every lesson learned has prepared us for a shiny, bright future. You know, we should let fear motivate us, not stop us. So, those are literally unorthodox ways in a sense that we get caught up in the norm. And being caught up in the norm, we see what normal looks like. And I don't think any of us should strive to be that.
Facts. Yeah. I feel like even the book coming out, I can't wait for it. But then I absolutely feel privileged to be able to know what to expect out of it and to get some of the bits and pieces so I can implement immediately, which I did. I was like, yes, makes sense. I need to hop on this right away, right? Yes. To create an immediate impact in my life. And so thank you for sharing that, first of all. And give me the timeline again for when it's expected.
It's expected right after the new year, February, most likely. So I recently moved to Florence, South Carolina. Never thought I would live in South Carolina, but here I am.
Right.
So due to the move and all that, I had to push it back. I wanted it out by Christmas, but February is looking really on par. The book is written, so it's just doing the other stuff, getting the IBSN number and all of that with it. So I'm working on all of that now.
Okay, cool. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
I know Zak, I just been struggling so much, especially in the last couple of weeks. And so I appreciate you making the time for me this morning. I just cannot get it together.
In that chapter, burnout is real. We got to research that. It's real. It's a real thing, but you can overcome it. So can I, and we will.
I've been struggling. I missed so many phone calls yesterday. Was just knocked out. Sleep. By like 7:30. By like 7 o'clock, I was knocked out. And then I woke up in the middle of the morning and saw how many people had attempted to contact me. I was like, geez. First of all, that's a horrible use of a day to be spent sleep on the couch, first of all. But second of all, I was like, oh my God, I really wanted to talk to Zak, or I really wanted to speak to this person, or I was expecting company, and it was a mess. It was a mess. But anyway, thank you.
Getting into sleep. Sleep is one of the things that was on the list on how to be happier. So get into it every chance you get. It's okay.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I gotta forgive myself for naps. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yesterday was terrible though. But yeah, sometimes I give myself a hard time about naps because I have it so ingrained that naps are lazy.
No.
Yeah.
Doing nothing is also not lazy, by the way. It's necessary.
So thank you. And it felt good this morning that we did it so early. Yes. I don't know if I must be because, well, I depend upon the sun, like I mentioned before, but it felt good, and I felt very, I don't want to say alert is a part of it, but I was able to receive everything that much clearer because we chose to do it this time of day.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you for being open to that and suggesting it.
Yes, thank you. Because last night I don't think it would have been as great. You know, both of us, we go down with the sun, we come up with the sun.
Excellent. All right. Well,
but
thanks.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love everything you're doing. I'm a supporter. I'm a fan.
Thank you. Thank you, Zak.
And I see big things. All right. Well, are you a YouTuber too?
Yes.
I'm gonna get into that arena, so I'm gonna start following you over there.
Okay. Yes. Do so. I'm a YouTuber who's looking for sponsorships.
Oh,
obviously, right? So yeah, that's the bottom line with that piece. But also,
well, let's get you some sponsors.
Yeah.
AP.
Exactly. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Love you too. Bye.